Good Monday, everyone. I'm Cyrus Webb, and welcome to Conversation Daily News. Glad you all could be with us. Well, it's a brand new day. It's a brand new week, which means it's a brand new opportunity to do something amazing, and it all begins today. Can you believe we're over halfway through the month of November? I know many of you guys are going to be off for the holidays this week. We'll be with you guys, though, Monday through Friday, so make sure you guys join us. For today, of course, you have news headlines coming up. Have a message from my book, Words I Choose to Live By, in week number 47. And in today's Entertainment Spotlight, you're part of my conversation with serial entrepreneur and my friend LaWanna Bradford, discussing her year and her success. You don't want to miss that. Enjoy today's broadcast. For Conversation Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with your Monday headlines. In national news, Rosalynn Carter, outspoken former First Lady, dead at 96. Former First Lady Rosalynn Carter, the closest advisor to Jimmy Carter during his one term as U.S. President and their 4 decades thereafter as global humanitarians, has died. The Carter Center said she died Sunday after living with dementia and suffering many months of declining health. The statement announcing her death said she died peacefully with family by her side at 2:10 p.m. in her rural Georgia home of Plains. Rosalynn was an equal partner in everything I ever accomplished, Carter said in a statement. She gave me wise guidance and encouragement when I needed it. As long as Rosalynn was in the world, I always knew somebody loved and supported me, he said. Jill Biden, appearing at an event at a Naval Air Force station in Norfolk, Virginia, said she had to lead this off with a sad announcement that Rosalynn Carter had died. She was well known for her efforts on mental health and caregiving and women's rights, so I hope that during the holidays you'll include the Carter family in your prayers, she said. She spoke in an hangar where she and President Joe Biden plan to attend an early Thanksgiving dinner with service members and their family. The Carters were married for more than 77 years, forging what they both described as a full partnership. Unlike many previous First Ladies, Rosalynn sat in on cabinet meetings, spoke out on controversial issues, and represented her husband on foreign trips. Aides to President Carter sometimes referred to her privately as co-president. Rosalynn is my best friend, the perfect extension of me, probably the most influential person in my life, Jimmy Carter told aides during their White House years, which spanned from 1977 to 1981. Fiercely loyal and compassionate, as well as politically astute, Rosalynn Carter prided herself on being an activist First Lady, and no one doubted her behind-the-scenes influence. When her role in a highly publicized cabinet shakeup became known, she was forced to declare publicly, "I am not running the government." Many presidential aides insisted that her political instincts were better than her husband's. They often enlisted her support for a project before they discussed it with the president. Her iron will, contrasted with her outwardly shy demeanor and a soft Southern accent, inspired Washington reporters to call her the Steel Magnolia. Both Carters said in their later years that Rosalynn had always been the more political of the two. After Jimmy Carter's landslide defeat in 1980, it was she, not the former president, who contemplated an implausible comeback, and years later, she confessed to missing their life in Washington. In international news, 31 premature babies are evacuated from Gaza's largest hospital, but scores of trauma patients remain. Health officials said 31 premature babies in extremely critical condition were transferred safely Sunday from Gaza's main hospital and will go to Egypt, where over 250 patients with severely infected wounds and other urgent conditions remain stranded days after Israeli forces entered the compound to look for Hamas operations there. The newborns from Shifa Hospital, where power was cut and supplies ran out while Israeli forces battled Palestinian militants outside, were receiving urgent care in the southern Gaza Strip of Rafah. They had dehydration, hypothermia, and sepsis in some cases. 4 other babies died in the 2 days before the evacuation, the director of the hospital said. A World Health Organization team that visited Shifa for an hour Saturday said hospital corridors were filled with medical and solid waste, increasing the risk of infection for patients who were terrified for their safety and health and pleaded for evacuation. 25 staff stayed behind. In more national news, 2 people killed, 3 injured when shots were fired during a gathering in an Oklahoma house, police say. 2 people were killed and 3 were wounded when shots were fired early Sunday during an argument at a gathering at an Oklahoma home. Tulsa police said officers were called to the home at about 2 a.m. Police have not said how many people fired weapons or whether any suspects have been identified or arrested. In business news, Wall Street closed its 3rd straight winning week with a tiny gain. Wall Street's third straight winning week came to a close late Friday as stocks tacked a whisper more until their sizzling gains for November so far. The S&P 500 edged up just 6 points, or 0.1%, to 4,514 in its nearest highest level in 3 months. And finally, in entertainment news, Hollywood's Feast and Famine Before Thanksgiving as Hunger Games prequel tops box office. That made the top 5 movies over the weekend. Number 1, The Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes with $44 million. Number 2, Trolls Band Together with $31 million. Number 3, The Marvels with $10 million. Number 4, Thanksgiving with $10 million. And number 5, Five Nights at Freddy's with $4 million. Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. It's now time for a message from my book, Words I Choose to Live By. Enjoy. Good Monday, everyone. I'm Cyrus Webb, and welcome to Words I Choose to Live By. The road ahead would be easier to travel if you could put off the weight of the past and the pressures of yesterday. Let it go. Free yourself. Then use this opportunity to do all you can for as long as you can. Don't stop. There's so much life left in you to live. Have an amazing Monday. LaWanna Bradford is featured in today's Entertainment Spotlight right here on Conversation Daily News. For Conversation Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with your Entertainment Spotlight. Serial entrepreneur and my friend LaWanna Bradford joined me on Conversations Live, the radio show, to talk about her extraordinary year and success. Here's a bit of our conversation. LaWanna, glad to be able to speak with you again. Thanks for the time.
Thanks for having me, Cyrus. Good to see you.
Well, same here, and a lot for us to talk about. You've had quite the year on a lot of different levels, but I want to first of all kind of talk about big picture for you, LaWanna, as you kind of look at where we are now at the end of 2023. What has it been like for you to reflect on your career and all that is accomplished for you, especially in this year?
This year has been a quite interesting year from both a personal and professional standpoint. And on my birthday, which is in May, I made a decision to come from behind the brand. So the brand from behind the brand. And that sounds a little odd. Like, what does that really mean? Well, it means that even though my companies, the Bradford Group's over 17 years in business and the consulting arm over 13 years in business, it has its own independent brand, right? But then who is LaWanna? Who is the force behind the brand? And I felt that it was really important for people to hear my message, my story, in order to create a greater sense of, I guess, resonation. Yeah, here we go. With me, in order to create and foster the change that I want to see, especially within women. And one of the things that I've shared with you, Cyrus, is the financial crisis facing women. And I talk a lot about it, but people don't know why that's so important to me. And so that's, again, a part of my message, part of my platform has been sharing my story, sharing my financial trials and tribulations, how I overcame it, and then introducing the audience to my platform, which is called the R3 system, your personal navigation system. And we all need to be able to have a personal navigation system in our life. Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. We thank you all for tuning in to this edition of Conversations Daily News. But that's on tomorrow's more news, message from my book, Words I Choose to Live By, and of course, your Entertainment Spotlight. Until then, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Daily News today. Now let's go make today amazing. Take care.